Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Margerison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julie Margerison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us, questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Well, hello. Welcome to episode 3 of Heartfelt with Julie Margerison podcast. I'm wearing my Where's Wally shirt because I'm going to chat about how I really feel like I need to be seen and when that happened in my world. There has been a number of times throughout my life where I've been that person in the moving picture video where everyone's looking at the counter and I'm down below and I can't be seen. And it's like, what about me? It's my turn. And I can see that show up in my timeline throughout my life. So I thought, Where's Wally's shirt is a shirt that I should wear. It's not really a Where's Wally shirt. It's just what Russell calls it. So this is going to be a deep conversation about times where I had light bulb moments that I needed to come from my heart and not from my head. And I want to tell you my story about the big factors that made me start to really listen to my heart. And the one thing that really stood out for me was when I was at a wellbeing expo with my Blissful Touch table and I was doing massages, and it was an expo where there was clairvoyance, and I have always, since I was 16, had readings from clairvoyance, and I always get a lot of clarity from them. Well, I had been doing massaging all day and there was lots of clairvoyance at this expo, and it's like, who am I going to go and see? And I was trying to feel into what I desired most. And there was this guy who was 2 tables away from me, and I thought, I'm going to go to him. And his name was Tema. And I went over to him, and Russell looked after my bookings while I was away. And when I started talking with him, he said to me, why are you so sad in your heart? And it's like, what? I feel like I'm so happy. I'm getting married in a few months' time. There's my fiance over there. It's like, what do you mean? I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I making a really big mistake? I'm about to get married and I should be joy in my heart. And I really felt like I had so much joy. Oh, I felt so much dread, and I went, oh my goodness. And he said, how many times do you not listen to your heart? And he gave me this exercise, and he says, okay, I want you to answer yes to this. And He said, can you boil? No, sorry. First off, he said, I want you to answer yes or no. And he said, can you boil water? And I said, yes. Then he said, can you jump out of an aeroplane? And I said, no. And he said, have you ever, skydived? And I said, yes, but that was tandem. And then he said, okay, I'm going to ask you this question and you have to say yes. And it's like, okay. He said, can you drive a truck? And I'm going, and I went, well, I know I meant to say yes, but I can't. So it's no. And he said, can you follow instructions? And I laughed. And he said, okay, I want you to answer this no. And I'm thinking, I'm feeling like I'm really, really in trouble because I'm lying. I'm lying if I have to say yes, that I can drive a truck. So then the next question he said, remember, you have to answer no. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what's he going to ask me? And he said, can you boil an egg? And it's like, well, of course I can boil an egg. And I went, no. And he said, how did that feel inside? And I went, well, I'm lying. I'm lying to myself. And he says, how many times do you feel that feeling? Do you feel that feeling in your heart when you say yes to something, but your heart is saying no, or vice versa? And it's like, oh my goodness. I went, I was like gobsmacked. So fast forward till the next morning, Russell and I are lying in bed and we're talking about the wedding and how we're actually going to go down, and we've got one night's accommodation and we're just in a motel room, and I'm like, I don't really want that. And then I was scrolling on Facebook and there was this bride who was at Surf Air where we were getting married, and she had a water view and she was showing off her wedding dress and everyone was there. And it's like, I want that. And then my words were felt within me and I felt this big smile. And then it's like, why did I book just a motel room? It was like I had to unpack that. How come that was my belief system? And what happened was I thought, you know what? I just felt that I had to be happy that I had a room. I was so lucky that I could even stay one night at the motel. And then I went, why can't I have what my needs are? And I said to Russell, wow, look at this. I don't want everyone there looking at me in the wedding dress. That's not what I was looking at. It was me wanting everyone, the family and the friends around me, to be part of my special day. So we got onto Surf Air and we found accommodation that actually had a beach view, an ocean view. And from being there for one night, it stretched out to, we went down there on the Thursday and we stayed till the Monday. And we had a 3-bedroom apartment. So some of the kids could stay there for some of the time, and we had our wedding night together, all alone in this beautiful apartment. It was my belief system. It was my patterning that was holding me back. I'm getting goose pimples as I think of it. So that was a big light bulb moment for me to think and feel from my heart. We had been talking about a honeymoon, and I had said to Russell, well, I want to go to Carnarvon Gorge. We've spoken about Carnarvon Gorge the whole time we've been together. I want to go to Carnarvon Gorge. And Russell was such a people pleaser that he would go, okay, we'll go to Carnarvon Gorge. But I could feel that he did not see that as a honeymoon destination. Trekking 8 hours on a walk. But I just kept on going. It's like, oh no, we're going to Carnarvon Gorge. And he's going, oh, okay. And then I went, you know what? I'm not being true to myself. I'm not being true to Russell. He would really like to go on a cruise. Me going on a cruise, it brought up so many feelings: anxiety, fear, restriction. Being on a cruise made me feel I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be restricted. I'm not going to be able to touch the ground. I did not have any good thoughts regarding a cruise. It had been something that I've wanted to do, but I just had too many worries that I couldn't face it. So then I went, okay, I need to face this fear. I need to face this fear. What about if we go on a cruise that's closer to Australian shores and hopefully isn't too rough, and for me to just overcome some of these fears? So it went to Carnarvon Gorge trekking, to 7 days on a cruise to Cairns, Port Douglas, and back again. I had to work on me not getting motion sickness. So I had kinesiology. I had lots of work on my anxiety and what was coming up. And I do want to report back that I survived, and we had a wonderful honeymoon. And I did have C-bands on my wrists for the first 48 hours. And then I had the courage to take them off. And when we had to go out Willis Island, I actually put them back on again. And because it was getting a bit rough, and I didn't get sick at all. But I heard lots of people who were getting sick. So I was so grateful that I had overcome this. I didn't know whether I would be able to relax and rest because I'm always doing. So that was another challenge that I had to face. Plus, I was carnivore. So no alcohol, no sugar, no carbs. So that was something else that I was ready to face. And I must admit, we got really good support from the staff. They originally thought I was a bit weird, but then they helped me. So it was really, really good. So then I thought, okay, what else is actually holding me back? And when aren't I listening to my heart? Well, after I had finished my Cert 3 in support working, I really felt like I was just going through Groundhog Day. And I felt like I had nothing to look forward to. The wedding was finished, the honeymoon was done, my study was over, and it's like I've got no purpose. And I then realized that I was living my life through what I thought other people expected of me. and I had closed the door on me and my sharing my journey. So this is why I am here. I'm putting myself out there. This is why I'm in my Where's Wally shirt, so I can be seen. And it's like, what am I holding back on? And that's when I realized that I want to rewrite my book, My Way to Happiness. And instead of coming from external, I want to come from soul. I want to share my light bulb moments and how I work through them. With me not giving advice, just my story. And that is happening in the background. Plus, I want to share my story plus other people's stories. And when I was walking at Carnarvon Gorge, and this is when it all started to happen, I said to Russell, it has been my desire to carry a microphone and actually go and ask about people's stories. It's something that I've wanted to do ever since about 2007, because I feel like everyone has a great story and they're just not asked about it. So that's something that I will be doing. I will be traveling. I will be walking down the street and just asking people, would they like to share something that inspires them, something that fear holds them back, something that they might like just to share. So that's where this is all going to go in many, many episodes to come. So all because of a clairvoyant reading, of a clairvoyant saying you must come from heart. And I just really, really appreciate having that advice, because our wedding was so different once I started setting that intention. My life has changed so much since I set that intention, that my needs are worthy to be met and I'm worthy to receive, and I come from heart. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit about my story, and it's so liberating to actually see the growth and how it changes, and I'm excited for more growth. So thank you for listening and sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stayed with you, opened something up in you, or simply made you feel seen. If this episode moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to continue this journey with us, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Until next time, take care of your heart and remember, your story matters. Thank you.